crazy, but I'm up for a crazy good time. Pop another bottle and we lose our mind. This train is coming off the rails tonight. So tell me, are you up for a crazy good time?
All right, excellent. Welcome, welcome. I am so glad to be here tonight. We have a wonderful lineup for tonight with 9atNight.com. And you know what? This is an epic week, okay? This is our first week with a show at 9atNight every night, and it's been absolutely a blast. We have Monday night, which is all about the business. We have Tuesday night, it's all about the drive. We're talking the racing and every part of that world spectrum. Tonight is Wednesday night, and it is all about the talent. And we're talking talent from bands to artists to management to PR firms to talent agencies. And then we have Thursday night, it's all about the money, where it's specialized basically with our charter financial analyst, Ray Patterson. And he definitely tells you how to work with the whole system and make it work out, okay? And then Friday night, it's all about the fun. So you can catch all of this at 9atnight.com. And that's the number 9atnight.com. And so kicking off with tonight, I have an excellent guest. And this is an epic show because it's our first one with 9atnight.com. And I'm so excited on our talent night. So with our guest, I'm going to go ahead and bring her up, but I have a little intro surprise for her. So I'm going to go ahead and start that and sure appreciate her. Okay, so right now I just want to say a little bit about Karla. She is Karla Johnson. She's the owner of Creative World Model and Talent Agency. Now, Creative World is a model and talent agency. It's based in Montana. And she's going to tell you the name of the city because I don't think I can say it very well, but it's 54 miles southwest of Billings, Montana. And they're a member of the Prima Talent Group. And the Creative World was established in 1979. No other agency in the state has been in existence that long. So they have been helping discover talent in Montana, Idaho, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Wyoming. And they work with local, state, national, international agencies. So with that, I'm so excited to introduce and thank you for being here, Karla Johnson. So we're ready.
Thank you, Christine. Thank you, Christine. It's an honor to be here on your first show. That's very exciting. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, you bet. It is exciting because it's epic. And I thought, well, let's kick off with some people I really, admire and respect out there. But what I want to do with the talent night, when I did my radio show years ago, I did that. And I had actually, it was through radio and there was major markets. And so people, knowing that I lived in Nashville for years and on the business spectrum of the music industry, there was a lot of people that just wanted to reach out and say, help me, give us some tips. So with you and your talent modeling agency, you have been there since 1979. So I'm going to turn it over to you because you are a very important part of this entire spectrum of talent. So how did you get started? What inspired you? And let's start with that.
Okay. Well, the name of my town is Absaroka, Montana, and don't worry, nobody in the world can ever. they can't sound it out right. So that's
so
okay.
It's Absaroka. Is it Absaroka? Oh, okay. Well, I learned something new. Okay, yay.
Well, a little history lesson, real quick. It was supposed to be Absaroka, and when they sent in the Absaroka, the postmaster. This is from what I hear from people that when I moved here, they told me. He didn't close his A, so it looked like two E's. So they left it because, it takes an act of Congress to change anything in the government. So They left it
No,
at that. So that's
I
how
went.
Absorki got supposed to be Absorka, but it came out Absorki.
That
So
is excellent.
there's
That is
no other
excellent.
Absorki in the world. I've looked. There's no other town named Absorki. So because it
That is
was a
excellent.
mistake. So it's unique. But I'm 54 miles out of Southwest, out of Billings. And but you know, with the way we have internet now and everything, it really doesn't matter where you are. And I do represent talent from all over, actually, all over the United States. And so a lot of people think, oh, but I have a lot of people that come to me. I've had oodles and oodles of people this last probably couple of years, probably since the COVID hit, asking me to represent them. And one of the main reasons is because we have Yellowstone that's filmed here. So they all want me to get them on Yellowstone. So yeah, so it's been kind of fun. And I do have one gentleman that actually I co-produced a show. He's a hunting and fishing guide, and we made a show for him called the Copeland Expedition. It actually has aired on national TV, but then the COVID hit, so we kind of shut things down. But he is an international scout and hunting guide, and he had this. We got several episodes filmed, and they were beautiful. But like I said, it hit, and so Joe got to be on Copeland. He got to be on Yellowstone, and it was a lot of fun. And I got to be on the first episode as well, kind of by error and mistake, but it was kind of fun. But anyway,
Oh, I bet it
that's what
was.
I've had a lot of.
So
Yeah.
back in 1979, did you just say, I want to do a talent company, or how did that start?
Okay, well, actually, my company has been in existence since 1979. It's the oldest in the state of Montana. But what happened, then a lady bought it, and then I bought it from another lady in 2002.
Oh,
And why I bought it was because my daughter was young then, and she wanted to get into the entertainment business, and I was offered that. So I was like, okay, yeah, I think that's something I'd like to do. But it's been wonderful because I've met so many wonderful people. And yeah, I mean, it's been a good thing, and I've enjoyed it. And what was really interesting about it is I'm also a genealogy buff. And so I always wanted to be a movie star when I was a little kid. But
who
life
didn't? What
happens,
little girl did not want to do that? Okay.
but life happens, and that didn't happen for me. So it was interesting because I found out from doing genealogy research that I'm related to like Elvis Presley, Walt Disney, Marlon Brando, Lucille Ball. I mean, a whole bunch of entertainers and a whole bunch of authors as well, or authoresses, or however you say the feminine form. So it was, and I've always loved to write. It's just so fascinating how your ancestors you're still living your ancestors through you. It's beautiful. I love it. I think it's absolutely fantastic. So anyway, I just thought that was so awesome when I found out that I had all of these, relatives that were in the entertainment. I said, well, that must be where the bug bit me, because that's what that's what I wanted to do when I was little. But like I said, so I ended up getting into the industry like this, and that's fine too. But I did get on Yellowstone. I was in a movie, even though I was deceived in the movie, so I didn't have any acting parts. So, but it was an honor when the boy asked me to be his mom in the show, and then he says, wait, maybe I better tell you what you're going to be doing. And I just laughed. I said, oh, I love it. But anyway, it was kind of a crazy little film, but it's still being edited, but it is on IMDb website. So it's called Oswald's Dinner. And that was
What is it called?
Awesome. Oswald's Dinner.
Oswald.
So I think Oswald's Dinner.
Oh, Oswald's Dinner.
Oswald the rat. I think it was named after one of the Disney's first characters, Oswald, that was a rabbit. That's because I asked him, I said, how did you pick that name, Oswald's Dinner? Right? So he told me it was, I think, a Walt Disney rabbit, one of his first films, cartoons or something. So that's how it got named that. Yeah, so he filmed it at the Moss Mansion in Billings. So Yeah,
Very
he's
good.
awesome.
Oh, it's like it. Oswald, that is from my family name, you being a genealogy buff. So I'm like perking up. Okay, what's the story behind that? But I understand your daughter is very lucky to have a mom that cared enough to actually buy a talent model agency so she can have some fun with that. My husband, when he married me, as I mentioned, I lived in Nashville. My children were born in Nashville. Their dad was in the music industry on the business side, and so he's passed away. But I used to do big concerts like major acts, and we're going to get some acts on here too that to interview and everything. But my husband, I did 2 big concerts where I live, Southeast Idaho, and I said, well, what bands do you want? And I gave him a slew, and so we got to meet Starship and Journey and Sawyer Brown.
Awesome. I love those. Those are 2 of my favorite singing groups. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love them. They're awesome.
Yeah, and they're just gentlemen. It's just been wonderful. Our promotion trailer was next to their, because when you're a promoter, you have to set up everything. And so I
Right.
have all these trailers for everybody as their dressing hub rooms and where they stay and get pampered. And so, yes, I love that. We had Molly Hatchet too, as well.
Oh gosh.
Just a bunch. Oh yeah. There's a lot in the background I have not talked about. I'm not tonight's your night, but I know these guys for other reasons from the entertainment industry. I mean, I used to
Yeah.
front some of these bands, okay, and before they opened up. So long history.
That's
And
wonderful.
yeah, so I just don't talk about it. But anyway, I want to get back to you. Your daughter is very lucky. My husband's very lucky.
Yeah.
So now with that, when you have your connections and we're getting somebody, they want to come on, they want to do something. How did you establish your connections? Were they already with the agency when you bought it, or if you reached out?
Some of them were, but when I bought the agency, we sent out a letter. And so a lot of them reached out to me and became really good friends. And we've had over a 20-year, relationship now. So yeah, it's been great. I went to a lot of model and talent conventions when I first started, because that's one way I get my talent out to bigger agents, that like people that don't want to just stay in Billings, Montana. They want to go on to New York or LA. So I would go to these conventions. Unfortunately, the one convention I used to go is no longer in existence, but the other convention is IMTA, and they are still in existence. And in January, they have their convention in LA, and in the summer, they have it in New York. So still have access. That way you get to meet a lot of the larger agents that will sign your talent, or they get to showcase in front of, they get to sing, dance, act, whatever they want to do. And then the judges judge them. And then at the end of the week, we have a great little like party, and they get their awards. And
Oh
then
wow,
I
how
have
much fun.
people, I have people contact me. Oh, I would like to see this person. Sometimes they ask before they leave the big city to come and have an interview with them. And then sometimes they wait till we get home, and then they have interviews with them. So yeah, it's I think it's it costs money to go to the conventions, but I think it's a pretty, for the talent, it's an economical way, because they've got all those agents under one roof, one big hotel, and so they don't have to fly all over trying to get in the door, because usually they're not going to get in the door. A lot of people don't realize that unless you have a lot smaller agent like me to get that connection. They usually can't just go knock on the door. And I had one little. Go ahead.
Well, no, I was going to say it's interesting, and I love the fact that you mentioned this, that it's just the small agencies. It's any size agency. I always thought agencies had to be huge and powerful to get anyone in the door. And I love that. I love that because it gives everybody a chance. Now, just talking about conventions in Nashville, they have my children's father was a radio promoter. He's one that called the radio stations representing a major label and saying, can you play this record? And that's how you get records to get to number one. And it's developing relationships. It's all about relationships. So what we would, so there's a convention, it's called the Country Radio Seminar Convention every CRS every year. It's where 1,200 radio program directors from reporting stations come in, and all the top talent comes in and entertains, wines and dines. All the major label execs are there, and it's just a one. People wish they could be on there, just so you can have
Yes.
this closeness with everybody. So is that kind of how your agency, that seminar is in LA, the IMTA?
They we have all kinds of people there looking for all kinds of talent, singers, dancers, actors. So yeah, I was going to ask you, I don't know, maybe I should, do you know Dan Keene? Do you know him? He was with ASCAP Records. He's from Nashville. Dan Keene, it's Keen, because he was really big in the country music in industry, and he's on my Facebook still. We connected after a lot of years of not seeing each other and stuff. But yeah, he's real big there in Nashville.
There are so many people, like Scott Bruschetta right now is the top person, with his label and everything. His dad, Mike Bruschetta, used to run Curb, and my husband used to work for Mike. And of course, my husband passed away, and they're still doing things with that. But I knew that's when we were at one CRS, and my Curb Records just signed on Marie Osmond, and that was back in the 80s when she did her country readings and everything. So we were in this hotel, because they have suites afterwards where you come over to the MCA, suite, or to the Curb Record suite. So it's kind of like that. And so it's just a connection for people, just to get the radio stations to pick this, artist up. So they want to wine dine these program directors, everything, how that is. So on your end, so you could have people that are fare buyers go to this convention of yours to see the talent there, right? To hire them for their fare or for their events. Is that?
Basically, mostly it's, well, there's some agents, larger agents, there's casting directors. Sometimes people get cast out of the, when I take them through there. I had a little boy, Taj, sing that I took a few Januaries back, I think maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And he did voiceover for Soul, the cartoon, Disney Soul.
Yes, how cool is that?
His dad just put a picture of his check on Facebook the other day, and it was pretty cool, because he's like, because he's only like, I think 8, and so he got his first check. It was good. I would have liked to have a check like that.
So did you set that up? What did you set that up?
Well, when I went, I knew Discover Talent was going to be there. And I knew she does great with children. Like she gets some good stuff. So good opportunities. And so I said, oh, I want you to get signed with her so bad. So at the end of it, I sometimes they get callbacks, and sometimes I have to reach out to them. But he did get a callback. He got a lot of callbacks. And so I said, oh, I want you to get signed with her, because I think she'll do the best for Taj. And so, yeah, he did. So it was great.
This is such good news. You hear, this is really good news, that things are done. You hear all of the horror stories. Telling someone pays and nobody pays attention. They just keep paying money in and nothing happens. I mean, I don't mean to bring it up, but I think it's important that people have some guidelines to know who is, what's legit.
Yes. And yes, thank you, Christine, because, okay, so what people, I tell people, yes, I know you're not supposed to pay, but like when I go to the modeling conventions, they're paying for a service. They're paying to be seen between 200 and 400 agents in one motel that they would never in their lifetime be able to meet. If they flew all around the world a million times, they wouldn't, because, Christine, I don't know if you know, but like a lot of, when you won't get to see the agent directly, you'll see their secretary. So as soon as you usually walk out from handing in your composite card, your headshot, and your resume, or maybe even your videotapes, they usually go in the garbage when they walk out the door. I mean, that is what happens sometimes. I'm not going to say all the time, but it does happen. And so if that person, you don't get that personal one-on-one connection with that agent, it's probably not going to happen. You know, you've got to have that middleman, like the smaller agent like me. And, you know, but that's what I tell people, you get to go showcase, you get to sing, dance, act, you get to do all that. They're usually, the agents are usually the judges. So
Oh, wow.
they're going to be watching you. So when they watch you, they see you. I heard that the one gentleman that was in Nebraska, he was actually cast at INTA. They saw him, he was an older man. And that's what people think. That's another you know, misconception about the industry. Everyone thinks, oh, it's for little children, it's for young, beautiful 20-year-olds, and it's not. I've had, in fact, I would say at least half of probably the people that go to IMTA, some of them are over 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. I had one African-American lady, I was just walking around there in the halls and I saw her and I thought, wow, you know, I knew she was older, and I walked up to her and I said, can I ask you why you're here? Like, I said, not that, you know, you're any different than anyone else. And she said, yeah, I was in my 20s. My husband told me that we're getting married and you're not going to do that stuff anymore. She said, well, he died a few months ago, and so here I am. So it's just like,
It's about time.
her dream never left her, you know. So it was pretty awesome. And I said, good for you. And she did really well. She won awards and stuff. And so, you know, people think, oh, I'm too old, or, you know, I can't do it. But it's not. If people want to go, I'll take you. I mean, you know, I'll take you there and you can perform and to your
No, on
heart's
the
content.
performing, like if they act or something, do they give them scripts, or is it
They do
impromptu?
sometimes, and then sometimes they do. They'll say, okay, which kind of gets, you know, I know for the judges it probably gets boring because they're here. They give them like 4 or 5 different commercials to choose from, so you're going to hear that same commercial, because at these conventions there's usually 1,000 plus people. 1,000 is probably 1,200 is probably the least I've ever seen it, and it could go up higher. So you're going to be competing with all those people. So unless you do something really spectacular, you may not get noticed. And so, but some of the things like monologues, things like that, you can write your own. And I always encourage people to write their own, because then they get to see your creativity besides that, you know, anybody can just read off of a, you know, somebody's commercial that they already made up. But I always encourage the people to do their own if they can, if that's allowed in that category, because then they're going to see their creative side. They're going to see, wow, this person could do this, or, you know, and they have added a few over the years, like improv, so that you're not going to know until they put you out there what you're going to get. So they want to see how you can be with just an improv, or sometimes they do improv category with another person. You don't know that person. You're going to have to match up with that person. And, you know, I used to love that show. What was it? What's My Line?
Yeah,
yeah. Oh gosh, I used to love that show, because they didn't know anything and they would start making up, just creating stuff. And it's wonderful to see how creative people are, you know.
that is excellent.
So
Now
that's what I do love the improv. I do love
here's an
improv. It does put you on the spot, but it does make you get your creative side out there and go. So, yeah.
I love it. Now, just as you said, if you write your own and you're bringing your own material in the music world business, the singers are a dime a dozen. I hate to say it like that, you know, to executives. But if you,
Yes.
your own songwriter, and
Yep.
you can sing your own song and it really has something to it, then you stand out in the crowd. So I can understand that in this convention, why it's important to bring your soul into it and let them see what
Yeah.
you can.
And I do. Go ahead.
No, I'm it. I'm done.
They do. Singers. I have taken singers, and I encourage them to write. And usually, if they write their own and they, you know, showcase it, and they usually get picked because they know that person's creative. They know that that person's going to write their own songs. They're not going to have to go and look a songwriter. So yes, if you're a songwriter, singer, whatever, I mean, you're just going to be that much more ahead. I mean, some people can't do it all, but they call them triple threats, people that can act, sing, and dance, and they do
Triple
like
threat.
that. But yes, yep. But they do love those ones that write their own songs, and your own songs usually are written from something from the heart, so they're going to see that part too. And I think that's where a lot of people's creative comes from. It's from their life story, some of them their stories, and
It's
it's
excellent.
wonderful.
Now, with you, do you also manage the talent that comes in, or do you just put them together with someone else and then you're just a part of the
That's
system?
funny. Because I was talking to somebody one time not too long ago about this. I said, actually, I'm not just an agent, I'm actually a manager too, but I don't have that in my title, but I do, because and the other thing, it's kind of funny because it's like, I tell people, even if you're 4 or you're 94 and you come in my agency, I'm like a mother hen on them. Like, I'm like very like protective of them. It's really funny. So but yeah, I do, because I do keep in contact with a lot of people that go on. They still contact me back, but usually once they go on, I'm not monetarily wise attached to them anymore, but I still love them and care about them. And I just,
I love that.
they're just like, oh yeah. I mean, it's wonderful. And I had one young man years ago, and his parents still live here. They're ranchers over in the next town over. And with the COVID, New York shut down. So he came back, and he was been home a while. He went back for a couple months, he's back now again. And so we're talking about doing stuff here, and he's talking about coming home to stay, because he realizes he learned a lot in New York and stuff, but he misses this. And I said, wow, Tim, I would love to have you here. And he was in he has a podcast, and he was in Frontier Boys, or a few years back, maybe about 10 years back. He was like the main star, and he was so humble. He's like, oh yeah, I had a part. He was like one of the main parts.
I love it. What we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to play, we have a charity that I like to sponsor. It's called the Standish Foundation. So I'm going to play that video real quick. And we'll be back right after this with Karla Johnson with the Creative World Model and Talent Agency. We'll be right back after these.
Christine.
Having a child in the hospital is incredibly hard for parents and really difficult for the child too. But seeing a child smile because we were able to add a little bit of happiness and fun to their healthcare journey is an amazing feeling. In fact, it's our passion. Working in the US and overseas, I was sad to see that healthcare-related pain and suffering is universal. So, in 2010, Standish Foundation for Children began work to transform the healthcare experience for children. Today, we work to create new ways to help children and their families make the best of a tough situation.
Our caring and dedicated team is volunteer-led and made up of patients and parents, as well as professionals who are clinicians, educators, and advocates. Our team members have devoted their lives to helping children and are experts in addressing the psychosocial needs of patients and their families. Together with healthcare providers and donors, we work to make the healing process more hopeful and happy.
Our team collaborates with children's hospitals, clinics, and nonprofit organizations in the U.S. and around the world. We also support hospitalized children of U.S. military personnel. We guide in the education of staff and parents, teach child advocacy, offer psychosocial support, and give financial assistance to make the child's healthcare experience as positive as possible.
As healthcare technology continues to evolve, it's important to remember to embrace our common humanity. Fear is present for well checks, emergency room visits, as well as complex care involving surgery, chemotherapy, or organ transplantation. These procedures are scary, and we believe that no child should have to be afraid to go to the hospital or to the doctor's office. We know the research and strategies to minimize pain and suffering, and we know healthcare and healing can be positive. In fact, when children experience healthcare in a positive way, it contributes to their physical and emotional well-being, helping them reach their full potential.
We are honored to have donated over $200,000 in hundreds of volunteer hours to support 40 hospitals and clinics in the U.S. and overseas. Annually, our programs impact over 500,000 children. We need your help.
We need your help.
Now we need your help.
We need your help.
We need your help.
To further transform children's healthcare experiences and to ensure each child and family has access to a positive, hopeful, healing experience.
Excellent. And we're back. We're back with Karla Johnson, and we're having a fun time. I love learning about what you do and how you help so many people actually get their start. Their hope is up and actually some great results. What I have, Karla, is I have your website here. Let's go ahead, and if you can talk me through it, that will be great. We can kind of go around here. So I love your logo. Let's what can anyone expect? Let's say they're saying, okay, I have this dream. Here's Karla's website. So talk me through what they do.
Well, they usually, I do an interview with them, and I ask them if they have prior experience, and a lot of them don't, and then some do. So I ask to see a copy of their resume, and if they have any video of them performing anything, if they have any headshots or composite cards, and most of them don't. So then I try to set them up with a good photographer here locally and get some headshots, because people, that's their business card. I mean, I'm trying to sell you, you know, what I want. So they have to get those done. And I mean, but if they can take good photos, which, you know, the phones we have now are, gosh, they've got some really nice photos can come off of those phones. So if you've got somebody like a mom or a dad that's got an eye, I mean, they can send me some nice photos, you know, from their phone. And then I try to get them little, you know, gigs around the Billings or around Montana, so that they can get some experience to start building their resume. And some of them have actually done things like they've done theater or things like that, that we can get their resume started. So that's the main thing I need is, you know, professional photos, or at least a photo that's nice, that looks like them, and get building on their resume. So I have something to submit when a casting director reaches out to me to for talent. And I'm so blessed. I have a lot of talent in many avenues, like actors. Montana has a lot of wonderful actors. And I guess it's because it's kind of cold up here and there's nothing else to do, I guess. No, a lot of people get out, enjoy the snow and that, but
So anyone
we
can
have
go
a lot of them.
So anyone can go to your website, creativeworldinc.com, and they can just go to the contact page, put in their name and message you. And what's the response time from once they put it in that you get that message back to them?
I'm pretty fast. It's usually the same day. And
Okay.
because that comes to me, yeah. So, and I just reach out to them and ask them basically those questions I asked, like if they had photos or whatever. Some send photos with it, attach a photo, and then we just kind of work from there. And then I ask them, you know, how serious they are. Do they want to go to a larger market? Do they want to stay in Billings? Do they just want to, you know, try to go big with it? Because if they do, then I've, you know, got that opportunity where they can go and to the next level, to be showcased in front of a lot of agents, larger agents, casting directors, because a lot come, like I said, 200 to 400 come to each convention, and that's a lot of agents and casting directors to get under one roof.
So
And they're gonna
it's
see them
two-
in the halls. They're gonna see them, you know, all over,
it's-
eating, dining. They're gonna be there. So I mean, they'll be seen watching these kids and, well, that's the person that performed and, like that. So
And as
it's
long as you've been
very,
doing this, it's all about relationship building, right?
yes, it
To get
is.
with these
Yep,
others.
it sure is. Yes, it is.
So the best
So
way
I-
is your website. Let's give that out again and on your website. What was that website again?
It's www.creativeworldinc, and the ink is inc.com.
Okay, excellent. CreativeWorldInc.com. Okay, now your daughter, is she still interested in this or is she doing her own life?
Oh, no, she didn't. She got married and flew the coop. So yeah, she didn't go on. But I
Now, how
actually
about-
had a couple things for her singing wise set up, but it didn't pan out. I mean, it would have, but it didn't. So yeah.
So your talent is your main connections more in the movie industry or because talent there's um,
Yes, I
for
would say
models?
more the acting, and then I do some models, and and that's what I always like to let the ladies know, or men, if they want to be a high fashion runway model. There's not a lot of opportunity in the state of Montana for high fashion runway
Yeah.
shows.
Yeah.
So if they want to go on and do that, that's wonderful. But I always tell them they should have a backup plan. If they can sing or dance or act, they should try to do that, because that runway model career is so short
Mhm.
that they will be up on that plane, that high plane, and then they'll be come down. And sometimes that coming down is not a good thing. If you're not well-rounded and don't, because you're up there on the pedestal, you come down, it's like, and I tell people to, if you want to stay in the industry, you've got to, get all your talents out there, because sometimes they come down and then that could be a not so good thing. So I always try to encourage them to do just reach in there and find all their talents, like if they can sing or dance or act, because they'll have to move out of that runway phase into that next phase, because like I said, that runway, high fashion runway career is very short and limited. So
Well, that
and I
is
try to
excellent.
let them know that up front, because
I love
yeah.
the fact that you're just by the fact, this is how it really is. And if you have this chance, I have the connections type thing. So if you bring someone to IMTA, when is that convention? What part of the year?
It's January, it's in LA, and then
okay.
it's usually like right after the first, like it's like right in that week after the first, which makes it kind of hard because everybody's coming down from Christmas. But
Yeah.
and then it's in July, it's in New York. So
So
and
you got
that's
the
usually,
great
so
extremes.
what I try to do is encourage people that want to do high fashion and that go to the New York one,
Mhm.
because that's the high fashion's all there. And then if people want to do acting or, singing, dancing, to try to make the LA convention, because that's where all the acting is. But it doesn't have to be like, if you're a high fashion model and you want to go right now in January, to the, that's fine too, because the agents do come out from New York. They come, and vice versa. They go, the ones in LA go to New York, and vice versa. They go back, they go. So they just try to put it different.
So
So
when one of your clients, they want to go to IMTA, what is the cover, the cost? What is their range for them to go out there, and you make all those connections for them?
okay, usually it's around 3,900.
Yeah,
for
but
the
that's worth
talent.
it.
So-
That's worth it if you're.
Oh yeah, because
Oh, yeah.
if you tried to go see 200 agents around the United States, you'd spend over $100,000
Yeah.
easily
Yeah.
with this day and age. Yes, So like I say, I think it's a bang for your buck, because what you'll learn there is you'll learn, yeah, this is for me, or no, I don't ever want to do this again. And that's a pretty small price to pay for,
Now,
but
do they have like
nobody
training?
ever,
Like, do you have some of these
yeah,
gurus where they train the people? They're like seminars or something?
yeah, during the convention, they're having people come that talk all about the industry. There's seminars going on the whole time in between your competition. Sometimes you have to miss them because you're competing, but they have it on, the laws for children, and what to expect from your agent, and just they have all these seminars that are really great, and the parents can go to them too, and see them. But I do train them before they go, like in each category. Like I will go over them with their acting, and I'll try to critique them on it so that they can know, like, where they're putting their emphasis, or and sometimes they just throw a little twist in there so that they'll be different than just the air, especially in the ones where the commercial is the same, like there's 5 commercials and everybody's doing one of those commercials. I try to give them a little something, like a little something they can do, like even with their resumes. I sometimes, when the girls or boys would have blue eyes, I would say, put big sky blue for your eye color, just or olive green, or like chocolate brown, or something to where when they look at their resume, when they have their interview, they'll say, they'll stop and look, like, just a little something catchy, where it's just not the same blue, brown, just little,
Very
there's little
good.
ways you can tweak things
Kind of
where
pop,
people
just so you pop.
yeah,
Very
so
good.
that you just stand out, pop a little bit different than the others. And I try to always do that, or have them, help them pick out a special outfit for the runway that's just different, or just
Well,
really
that's
creative.
really, really good. You bought it in, so you've been doing this about 20 years yourself.
Yeah, I bought it in
As an owner.
2002. Yeah, 20 years. Yep.
That's a lot of years to really,
Yes,
take
it
over.
is.
You definitely know what's going on in the forefront because you're connected. You're definitely plugged in.
Right. Yeah, I've been really blessed. Like I said, I've met a lot of wonderful, agents and casting directors, and it's been really, really neat. And one time when I went to IMTA, they had I think it was, is it Lucy Ling? Is that her name? Lucy Lynn? I'm trying to think of her name. I shouldn't even have tried to say it, but she does all kinds of like shows, about people's businesses and stuff. And she was there filming while we were competing, everybody. So I got to get my picture with her. So that was kind of cool.
Well, those are
So,
fun. That's what it's all about, is
yeah.
just mingling and being connected. I know my son, he's graduated in film and production. And so he's, been in charge of several directing films and
Yes.
stuff, to where they have their casting calls. And so I get to,
Mhm.
so those kind of connections, if there's movies coming up that anybody that I run across or something, then do I just let you know so you can
Sure.
give your people a chance? That's kind of connecting, right?
Yes, it
helping.
is. Yes. Yeah, I actually had casting directors, pretty well known, Paul Weber. He did the Outer Limit movie, and a lot of stuff. He's got so much I can't even remember everything. And he was a good friend of mine. So he sent me an email. He was casting for that movie in a series in England. Oh gosh, I can't think. I just have so many things. But anyway, he was casting for it, and we submitted some. So it's great to know, because like sometimes you just get the casting director to contact you directly. I think it's Outlander.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
that was the
okay.
name of it. Yeah. And so so he reached out to me. So we submitted some. Unfortunately, we didn't get any pics, but at least I had that connection where he reached out to me, said, "Hey, do you have any redheads?" And so yeah, it's really neat, and you have, that personal one-on-one. And he actually came and did an acting class for me here and in Montana. And I had people from Utah drive up to come to it because
Very
that's
good.
how well known he is. And they were like, "Gosh, we didn't know you knew Paul Ritter." Like, and I
So
was
did
like, "Yeah." So,
how did you advertise it so people would know about it? What did-
I put it on Facebook, and I think I had some ads on the radio and some flyers around town. So it was neat because Paul had been to every state in the union except Montana, and I think it was, I want to say maybe Vermont. I'm not 100%. I can't remember the other state. And I said, "Well, we'll just kill two birds with one stone. We'll just have hello."
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. I can't see you now. Yeah, it went to your
I can see your picture there. So
okay.
just keep on
Okay.
going.
Yeah. So so I said, "Well, let's just kill two birds with one stone." And so he came up and did a class for me, and he got to come to Montana. So it
So
was
what
good.
I want
The first day I picked him up, we went to some hieroglyphics out by Billings, and then one of my talent drove him down to Yellowstone so he could see Yellowstone. And so yeah, it worked out. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. And it's all about building relationships. And it's what's really cool is I'm lining up. This is my first week having every night and having these different co-hosts. But it's all about then I'm going to start posting, for talent. If anybody to be on this show or to be connected, I'm actually creating my pool of connections. So anybody, if they
Okay.
want to go race cars, or if they want to, get into business, or if they want to be part in the music world, or the entertainment, acting, film world, that is huge. And so if we
Yes.
could, so this is why this week is so epic. And these every night this week, so far we've had wonderful co-hosts every week. Tomorrow night is with Ray Patterson. It's all about the money.
Right.
He's our chartered financial
Right.
analyst. And then we have It's
Yes.
All About the Fun on Friday, and I'm going to keep that a surprise. But it's just about building connections. So you are an incredible
Yes.
connection of getting people, if they want to be seen in the movies and the casting calls, through the
Yes.
IMTA. These are just
Right.
ideas I'm putting around. Me
Right.
for referrals for me is if there's somebody just dynamic that needs to be seen and heard, we need to get them on this show.
Yes.
So that we
Okay.
can
Yes,
get more
definitely.
exposure.
I can sure do that. I can sure send them your way for sure. So yeah,
That'd be excellent. And
good. I would
I love
love it.
social. Yeah, I love social media. I just I'm going to start on all of the platforms. You'll start seeing 9atNight next week on everything that you probably have, from Instagram to Twitter and everything, because I think it's
Mhm.
important now that it when the COVID happened, a lot of people it shut everybody down.
Yes.
My personal a booking agent that used to book me, when I opened up for these bands and stuff.
Yes.
He was just telling me these, and he's been in it for like 40 years. And so every big, name, he has a personal connection with them. And he's saying they all heard. And so with that,
Yes.
that's why this Zoom, I want to create it from businesses to, anybody in the field that really were hurt in the COVID area. We can still carry business on. We can still help things happen through the connections through 9atNight.
Right.
So that's kind of my passion.
Yes. It's excellent. That's an excellent idea, Christine. Very, very good. Because yes, and the fact, a lot of the casting directors have been telling me that they're probably never going to go back to one-on-one audition type stuff. Most of them are going to stick with the Zoom. And
Mhm.
so now your talent have to get really creative. And I was been telling some of them, you need to be coaching people on, because when you went to an audition before COVID, you walked in and walked out and they could see your cute little personalities or your
Yeah.
little quirks or whatever. They can't see that anymore because everything's on Zoom. So you have to be really put that wow factor out there for you to get that callback, So yes, it's created a lot of more. I think it's going to make people be more creative, but and my
it-
people are doing really well with that. Now me, I wouldn't know how to do that, but the young generation, they're already on all that. They already know how to.
Well,
to do
that's
all of
why
that.
we have you practice with this show, right?
Yes.
I'll practice you. I just it's interesting when the COVID hit, it's just so impacted me because I had a business that was thriving. I was doing all these group meetings and things. And then all of a sudden you couldn't do that anymore. I never knew a thing about Zoom.
Right.
I've never done that before. And so you bet
You're
I
doing
learned
great.
I learned
You
pretty
did
fast.
great learning. Yeah. You're
So,
doing great with
so anybody can do this and really, like you said, get your craft and get the talent. Anybody that you feel really should be on this show, just to be, have that exposure and expertise and practice, just let me know. That would be great.
Okay. So you want all kinds, actors, singers, dancers, all of that?
Yeah.
You want all of that?
We do.
Okay.
And I would love an acoustic guitar, once in a while, just
Oh,
however they can craft.
yes.
If you got a band, make sure you have a good camera where they can, that they could be heard. I would love them to perform live.
Okay.
This is meant to be a finder's place. I have my
Yeah.
agents in France for about a month. And so he's
Oh.
going to be bringing, coming on. I have some other people. This other one guy, Anthony, that's going to be
Wonderful.
coming on as kind of as a regular. He used to work with the Grammys in the Grammys.
Oh,
Yeah, we're talking
well,
some
that'd
major
be great.
connections. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and
Well,
then I
Well,
could,
yeah. Do you want me to have them connect you directly, or you want me to them to connect through me? Or
I think
how do
it's
you want
good
to
to
do that?
the people you can bring in. I think it's good to connect through you because it's giving attention to your business too.
Okay.
I think that's real
appreciate
important
that.
to be a one-stop
Yeah, I
shop.
think yeah. Well, you're a beautiful person. You have a beautiful soul, and I loved you from the day I saw you. I thought you were a fabulous person when I met you down there in Idaho. And I was just
I
like,
think you're
"Oh,
fabulous too. Well,
oh,
wow, this time has gone by fast. We're gonna have to close out. I can't say enough, Karla.
okay."
Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you,
here,
Christine.
and
And
we'll
I
see you.
appreciate your offer. Yes, that's very kind. Thank you.
It's about helping each other, and that's the only way I like
Yes.
to do business.
Yes, that's what we're here for, I
You
think.
got that right. Thank you so much. We sure appreciate you. I'm
Okay,
gonna
appreciate you, Christine.
thank you.
Bye, dear.
Bye-bye. We'll see you. I'm gonna go ahead. We have a little this is our 9atNight.com, and what this is every night. I want you to take a look at this because as you can see, we're already in Wednesday. This is our first epic week when it comes to 9atNight, doing 5 nights a week. So tonight it's all about the talent. We just heard from Karla Johnson, and she has Creative World Model and Talent Agency. She's the one that can actually take you down to 200 to 400 casting, booking people in LA or on the runways in New York. And so that's pretty exciting to have those connections. So definitely you want to tune in if you have that kind of gift that you want to share with the world and be known. It's on Wednesday night. And so we have tomorrow night, it's all about the money. And that's with our chartered financial analyst, Ray Patterson. And that's featuring top anything financial is on that night. We concluded Monday, our first, it's all about the business, had some excellent co-hosts and guests there. We had Richard Bruff. He's a top CPA, and he used to be an auditor. He definitely knows how to keep you in the business safely. And then as well as a coach for business owners too, with Chris Lecheminant. Tuesday, it's all about the drive. We had an excellent guy. This guy is actually called the car guy. And it's from the 80s. It's when he was first, he's from California. His name is Steve Ford. We had a wonderful time last night. And you can get his website is thecarguy.com. He's going to be on every week. On It's All About the Drive, plus some other wonderful, wonderful guests for Tuesday night. And so that brings us back to the end of this hour tonight. Thank you so much for being here. We have a little, and there's Karla Johnson and myself. It's all about the talent. So you'll see Karla every Tuesday night with some other guests. This is so exciting. It's just exciting about people making a positive difference. Here is a little video on, I wrote a book, and here's a little video talking about it. So again, thank you so much for being here. I so appreciate you guys, and I cannot say enough. This is where you need to be every weeknight when it's all about making a positive difference. So with that, you have an incredible night and making a positive difference.